Shema Kolenu, Avinu Malkeinu, Chatanu lefanecha, Avinu Malkeinu, Chamol aleinu, ve'al aleinu, v'tapeinu. Avinu Malkeinu, Kal hever v'cherev v'rav, me'aleinu. Avinu Malkeinu, Kal echol tzar, ol masti, me'aleinu. Avinu Malkeinu, Avinu Malkeinu, Odveinu, Sefer Chaim Tovim. Avinu Malkeinu, Chodesh Aleinu, Chodesh Aleinu, Shana Tova. Avinu Malkeinu, Avinu Malkeinu, Chodesh Aleinu, Shana Tova. Avinu Malkeinu, Shema Kolenu, Shema Kolenu, Shema Kolenu. Amen.
On behalf of Beit David Santon and Beit Menorah in Pretoria and Beit David in Durban, I welcome you back to our afternoon services. Thank you to Rabbi Tamara for conducting our shiur over the break and also the introduction to the yoga service. For those of you who missed the yoga, we're going to leave the link live for some time if you want to do the yoga, Yom Kippur yoga. Our service now starts for the Torah service, and our Yizkor service will start at 17:20. I'd like to invite Rabbi Shell to continue with the services.
Thank you. Good afternoon. In this morning's Torah reading, we were showered with hope, reassured of the eternal covenant God established between us, the Jewish people, and God's self. We were reassured that we are not alone. To the contrary, we are a part of a chain that was formed in Abraham and Sarah's days, and that has been inclusive, giving an opportunity to every human being to join, regardless of their origin, background, gender or gender identification, regardless of wealth, race, or any other dividers we human create, often out of fear or indifference. But it also warns us that this covenant comes with obligations and responsibilities. In the Torah reading for this afternoon, we learn about these obligations and responsibilities in a most meaningful way. God offers us to be holy, to mirror God in our own lives. You shall be holy, for I, Adonai, your God, am holy. Can you hear it? Can you grasp it? We, you, and I shall be holy. We shall be reflectors of God's glory in this world. And these are not ambiguous words. These are words loud and clear. Words spoken in our human language. To be holy, to set ourselves apart, means not in a sense of elevation, not to set ourselves above others. No, we shall set ourselves apart from indifference, from ignoring, from allowing evil to happen. To be holy means to reach out, to support, to share, and to empower. Ve'ahavta l'recha kamocha, love your neighbor as yourself, it says. Remember my words of the two waves. We are not separated. We are one. We are water and must act as one. One with ourselves, one with humanity, and one with the divine. Kiddushim tihiyu, holy shall you be. I welcome you back to our Yom Kippur service. As part of the afternoon service, we will read from the Torah, chapter 19 in Leviticus. Hear the journey of Jonah as our Haftarah reading, and we will pray together the Amidah and another set of the confessional prayers as part of our Cheshbon HaNefesh, our accounting of our deeds. If you have a physical copy of our Mishkan HaNefesh, please use it, turn to page 326, and if you don't, please use the online flipbook on ccar.co/MHN-YK, if you like to follow. If you want just to pray according to the words of your hearts and be inspired by the words we read and we sing to you, you are most welcome to do so, because today we pray as one and we stand as one. Page 326.
We stand as one. At this hour, Israel stands as one in prayer. All Jews on earth unite through memory and hope. A people unafraid, unvanquished, says to God, "This people you have formed still lives to tell your praise, still lives to share this teaching with our youth. Our ancient journey has not reached its end." The faith implanted at our people's birth is realized from age to age. Our sacred covenant, this people, few in number, ventured forth to carve a lonely path through wilderness with dreams of vines and fig trees, justice in the gates, the land at peace, and still we make our way across the desert. This people you have formed still lives to walk before you. Exiled once to Babylon, we learned the unity of God. A second time, dispersed by Rome, we learned that humankind is one. Hear, O Israel, the call still sounds. Eternity is ever present in your midst, a heritage of sacred purpose in your heart. Your past tells a story for all peoples. Your future holds a promise still unfolding. At this hour, Israel stands as one in prayer. All Jews on earth unite through memory and hope. We look at one another and we know who we are. We look to our Creator and we know our strength. In pursuit of truth, this people lives. To serve the Most High for the sake of life. Behind us, pain and glory. Before us, holy work. Timeless words command us. Towards eternity we gaze.
It shall come to pass in the fullness of time that the mountain of the house of God shall be established as the highest mountain, and raised above the hills, and all nations shall flow to it. Then many people shall say, Come, let us go up to the mountain of the Eternal, to the house of the God of Jacob. And they shall say, Teach us your ways, that we may walk in your paths. We give thanks today for a Torah of life, the way of kindness, mercy, and truth. May compassion be our source of sustenance now as in our people's past. May our souls withstand times of crisis and our hearts the inclination to evil. May the covenant of Abram and Sarah strengthen our will to do what is right. May the qualities of mercy and goodness, love and forgiveness flow through our lives. And let us be strong in a perilous world. Let us open our hearts to the path of Torah.
ויהי בצהרון ויאמר משה קומה אדוני ויפוצו אויביך וינוסו משנאיך מפניך.
Baruch Adonai HaMavarach.
Baruch Adonai HaMavarach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai HaMavarach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher b'chapanu mikol hamim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. וידבר אדוני אל משה לאמור, דבר אל כל אדם. כי מציון תצא תורה, כי מציון תצא תורה, ודבר אדוני מירושלים. ברוך שנתן תורה, ברוך שנתן תורה, לעמו ישראל בקדושתו.
שמע ישראל, אדוני אלוהינו, אדוני אחד, אחד אלוהינו, גדול אדוננו, קדוש ונורא שמו, גדלו לאדוני איתי, ונרוממה שמו יחדיו. And please me as we now turn to the Torah readings, which you can find in our prayer book on page 338. It is Leviticus 19, and page 338, Leviticus 19. The first aliyah will be offered to Dave and Andrea Burson, as you just saw them in that little clinch before. So we call Dave and Andrea, please. יעמדו דוד בן מיכאל חונה והניה בצרה מירה.
Baruch Adonai HaMavarach.
Baruch Adonai HaMavarach Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai HaMavarach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher b'chapanu mikol amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch Atah Adonai Noten HaTorah.
Amen. Vaydaber Adonai el Moshe lemor. Daber el kol adab b'nei Yisrael. Ve'amarta alehem kedoshim tihiyu. Ki kadosh ani Adonai Elohechem. Ish Imo ve'aviv tira'u ve'et shabtotai tishmeru ani Adonai Elohechem. Al tifnu el ha'elilim ve'lohei masecha lo ta'asu lachem ani Adonai Elohechem. Ve'chi tizbechu Zevach shlamim l'Adonai, l'irtzonchem tizbachuhu. Beyom zivchachem yechel u'mimochorat, v'hanotar ad yom hashlishi ba'esh yesaref. Ve'im he'achol ye'achel b'yom hashlishi, Piguhu lo yiratzeh, ve'ochlav avono yisa, ki et kodesh Adonai chilel, v'nichreta hanefesh hahi me'ameha.
And Adonai spoke to Moses, saying, Speak to all the community of Israel and say to them, You shall be holy, for I, Adonai your God, am holy. Revere each of you, your mother and your father, and keep my Sabbaths. I am Adonai your God. You shall not turn to idols, and you shall not fashion for yourselves molten gods. I am Adonai your God.
And when you make a sacrifice of well-being to Adonai, you shall offer it so that it will be acceptable for you. It shall be eaten on the day of your sacrifice and then on the next day. But what remains until the third day shall be burned in fire. And if nevertheless it is eaten on the third day, it will be a foul thing, unacceptable. And one who eats it shall bear guilt for profaning the holiness of Adonai. And that person will be cut off from the people. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torat emet v'chayei olam notah b'tochenu.
Baruch atah Adonai Noten HaTorah.
Amen. Our second aliyah for this afternoon is to Leroy Barnes. Ya'amod Aryeh ben Yaakov la'aliyah shniyah.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torat emet v'chayei olam natah b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai Noten HaTorah.
Amen. Uvekutrechem et ketzir artechem lo techaleh pe'at tzadcha liktzor ולקט קצירך לא תלקט, וחרמך לא תעולל, ופרת כרמך לא תלקט, לעני ולגר תעזוב אותם, אני אדוני אלוהיכם. לא תגנובו, ולא תכחשו, ולא תשקרו איש בעמיתו, ולא תשבעו בשמי לשקר, וחיללת את שם אלוהיך, אני אדוני. לא תעסוק את רעך, ולא תגזול, לא תלין פעולת שכיר איתך עד בוקר, לא תקלל חירש, ולפני עיוור לא תיתן מכשול, ויראת מאלוהיך אני אדוני. לא תעשו עוול במשפט, לא תיסף נדל, ולא תהדר פני גדול, בצדק תשפוט עמיתך. לא תלך רכיל בעמך, לא תעמוד על דם רעך, אני אדוני. לא תשנא את אחיך בלבבך, הוכיח תוכיח את עמיתך, ולא תישא עליו חטא.
And when you reap the harvest of your land, you shall not finish by reaping the corners of your field, and you shall not gather the gleanings of your harvest. You shall not pick your vineyard bare, and you shall not gather the fallen fruits of your vineyard. Leave them for the poor and for the stranger. I am Adonai your God. You shall not steal, and you shall not deceive, and you shall not lie to one another, nor swear falsely in my name, profaning the name of your God. I am Adonai. You shall not exploit your neighbor. You shall not rob. You shall not keep a worker's wage with you overnight until morning. You shall not curse a person who is deaf, nor put a stumbling block before a person who is blind. Rather, you shall revere your God. I am Adonai. You shall not do injustice in judgment. You shall not favor one who is weak, and you shall not defer to one who is powerful. You shall judge your kin with justice. You shall not spread slander among your people. You shall not stand idly by the blood of your neighbor. I am Adonai. You shall not hate your kin in your heart. Reprove your friend, thus you will not bear guilt because of a friend. You shall not seek vengeance or bear grudge against members of your people, but love your neighbor as yourself. I am Adonai.
And our third aliyah for this afternoon provides us with another possibility to honor one member of our sister congregation in Durban. So the third aliyah is to Alan Cohen. Ya'amod, Ya'amod, Eli Baruch ben Dov, la'aliyah shlishit.
Baruch et Adonai HaMorach. Baruch Adonai HaMorach Leolam Va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim, v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai, noten ha'torah.
Amen. Mipnei seva takum, v'hedarta pnei zaken, v'yareta melohecha ani Adonai, v'chi yagur itcha גר בארצכם, לא תונו אותו, כאזרח מכם, יהיה לכם הגר איתכם, ואהבת לא כמוך, כי גרים הייתם בארץ מצרים, אני אדוני אלוהיכם. לא תעשו עוול במשפט, במידה, במשקל ובמשורה, מאזני צדק אבני צדק, יפת צדק והין צדק יהיה לכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים. ושמרתם את כל חוקותיי ואת כל משפטיי, ועשיתם אותם, אני אדוני.
Rise before the one whose head is white with age, and regard an elder with respect, and revere your God. I am Adonai, and when strangers dwell with you in your land, you shall not wrong them. The stranger who dwells with you shall be like a citizen among you, and you shall love that person as yourself, for you were strangers in the land of Egypt. I am Adonai your God. You shall not act unjustly in judgment, in the measurement of weight, and in liquid measures. You shall have honest scales, honest weights, an honest ephah, and an honest hin. I am Adonai your God, who brought you forth from the land of Egypt, and you shall keep all my laws and all my judgments, and do them. I am Adonai. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torat emet, v'chayei olam nata betochenu. Baruch atah Adonai, noten haTorah.
Exalt HaTorah, asher sam Moshe lifnei bnei Israel. Adi Adonai beyad Moshe.
Thank you. I like to use the opportunity at the moment given to me to thank Shira Akers for reading from the Torah, but also the other Torah readers we had over the high holidays, including Rabbi Tamara Chagas from Israel and Ian Mann this morning. It is wonderful to know that this congregation has such a treasure of scholar people, of learned people, who can read from the Torah and can open its words to all of you. We will continue now with the reading of the Haftarah, which is to be found on page 344 and will be read by Ruth and Greg Jordan. It is the book of Jonah, and no Yom Kippur without hearing from the book of Jonah and talking about the book of Jonah. I know that the session, the Shiur of Rabbi Tamar Chagas, gave you a lot of ideas and insights into the book. Hopefully some you never had before, never seen before, so that this book opens its beauty to you as it is a core element of our Yom Kippur journey. So page 344, and I hand over to Ruth and Greg.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bachar b'nvi'im tovim, v'ratza v'divreihem hane'emarim be'emet. Baruch atah Adonai, habocher b'Torah, uv'Moshe avdo, uv'Yisrael amo, uv'nvi'ei ha'emet v'tzedek. Jonah, chapter 1. And the word of Adonai came to Jonah, son of Amittai. Kum lech el Nineveh. Get up, go to Nineveh, the great city, and proclaim against it, for their evil deeds have risen up before me. But Jonah got up to flee to Tarshish, away from the presence of Adonai. And he went down to Jaffa and found there a ship heading for Tarshish. And he paid its fare and went down into it, to head with them to Tarshish, away from the presence of Adonai. But Adonai hurled a great wind upon the sea, a storm at sea so great that the ship was in danger of being shattered to pieces. And the sailors were frightened, cried out, each to his own god, and flung the ship's cargo into the sea to lighten their load. But Jonah had gone down into the hold, the lower deck of the vessel. He lay down and fell into a deep sleep. And the captain approached him and said to him, "What are you doing sound asleep? Get up. Call to your God. Perhaps the God will be kind to us, and we will not perish." And they said, each man to his companion, "Let us cast lots, that we might know on whose account this evil event has come to us." So they cast lots, and the lot fell on Jonah. And they said to him, "Tell us, you who have brought this evil upon us, what is your trade? And where have you come from? What is your country? And who are your people?" And he said to them, "I am a Hebrew. I revere Adonai, God of heaven, who made sea and dry land." The men felt great fear, and they asked him, "What have you done?" Because the men knew he was fleeing from Adonai. For so he had told them. And they asked him, "What should we do?" "To you to bring calm to the sea around us." For the sea was growing more and more stormy. So he said to them, "Lift me up and hurl me into the sea, and the sea will calm down for you. For I know that the great storm came upon you because of me." And the crew rowed hard to return to dry land, but they could not do it, for the sea was raging more and more fiercely around them. And they called out to Adonai, saying, "Please, Adonai, please do not let us perish because of the life of this man, and do not hold us guilty for shedding innocent blood. For you, Adonai, that which you desired, you have brought about." And they lifted Jonah and hurled him into the sea. Then the sea stopped raging. The men revered Adonai. Great was their reverence. So they offered to Adonai a sacrifice and made vows. And Adonai provided a great fish to swallow Jonah. And Jonah was in the belly of the fish 3 days and 3 nights. Jonah prayed to Adonai, his God, from the belly of the fish, and he said, "I called to Adonai in distress, and God answered me. I cried out from the belly of the netherworld, and you heard my voice. Into the depths you cast me, into the heart of the sea, and the floods engulfed me, and your billowing, breaking waves swept over me. And I thought to myself, I was banished from before your eyes. Will I ever again gaze upon your holy temple? The waters closed in over me. The deep engulfed me. Rushes wrapped around my head. I descended to the low point of the mountains. The gates of the earth closed upon me forever. Yet you, Adonai my God, raised up my life from the pit. When my life fainted away, I called Adonai to mind, and my prayer came before you, to your holy temple. They who cling to empty folly forsake their own welfare. But I, with a shout of thanksgiving, I will sacrifice to you. What I have vowed, I will fulfill. Rescue comes from Adonai. And Adonai commanded the fish, and it spewed Jonah out upon dry ground. And the word of Adonai came to Jonah a second time. Get up, kum lech. Go to the great city of Nineveh, and call out to it the proclamation that I tell you. So Jonah got up and went to Nineveh, according to the word of Adonai. Now Nineveh was a great city of God, 3 days' journey across. And Jonah started out and made his way into the city, the distance of a 1-day walk. And he called out and said, 40 more days, and Nineveh shall be overturned. The people of Nineveh trusted in God, and they proclaimed a fast, and they put on sackcloth, from the richest to the poorest. And the word reached the king of Nineveh, and he got up from his throne, took off his robes, put on sackcloth, and sat in ashes. And he cried out and said in Nineveh, by decree of the king and his nobles, no person or beast, of flock or herd, shall taste anything. They shall not graze, and they shall not drink water. They shall be covered with sackcloth, person and beast, and they shall call loudly to God. Let all turn back from their evil ways and from the violence which is in their hands. Who knows? God may turn and relent, turn back from the heat of anger so that we do not perish. God saw what they did, how they were turning back from their evil ways, and God relented from evil planned for them and did not carry it out. But to Jonah, this was a great evil, and it made him angry. So he prayed to Adonai, saying, Please, Adonai, is this not what I said when I was still in my own country? This is why I fled to Tarshish to begin with. For I knew that you are a gracious and compassionate God, endlessly patient and abounding in steadfast love, ready to repent of evil. And now, Adonai, please take my life from me, for it is better for me to die than live. And Adonai said, Is it good for you to be angry? Then Jonah left the city, found a place east of the city, made himself a shelter there, and sat under it in the shade until he might see what would become of the city. And Adonai, Elohim, provided a gourd and made it rise up over Jonah to give him shade for his head and rescue him from his evil situation. And Jonah rejoiced with great joy because of the gourd. But at dawn the next day, God provided a worm that attacked the gourd, and it withered, and the sun rose. God provided an oppressive wind from the east, and the sun beat down on Jonah's head, making him faint. He begged for death, saying, It is better for me to die than live. Then God said to Jonah, Are you good and angry about the gourd? And he said, I am good and angry to the point of death. Then Adonai said, You pitied the gourd, which you neither worked for nor grew, which appeared overnight and perished overnight. Should I then not have compassion for that great city of Nineveh, a place of more than 120,000 human beings, unable to tell their right hand from their left, and many beasts.
Micah chapter 20, verse 7 to 18. Is there another God like you, pardoning iniquity, annulling transgression for the remnant of this people? God does not hold fast to endless anger, for God desires steadfast love. God will take us back, will have compassion for us, and will subdue our iniquities. Into the depths of the sea you will cast all our sins. You will be true and faithful to Jacob, granting steadfast love to Abraham, as you swore to our ancestors in days of old.
Blessed are you, eternal our God, supreme power of the universe, rock of all ages, source of justice in all generations, God in whom faithfulness abides, whose word is deed, whose every utterance bespeaks truth and righteousness. Our God eternal, for all of these gifts we thank you and bless you. Torah, worship, the books of the prophets, and this day of atonement given to us, for the sake of pardon and forgiveness, that we might make amends with honor and dignity. Let all life bless your name continually to the end of time, so that your truth will endure forever. Blessed are you, Adonai, sovereign, who forgives our failings and pardons the failings of your people, the house of Israel. You banish our guilt from year to year. You reign in majesty over all the earth. You sanctify the people of Israel and the day of atonement. Melech al kol haaretz, Mekadesh Israel, the Yom Kippurim.
Yishar Kochechem to the Jordans, thank you for reading the book of Jonah for us, and may the words of this book inspire us in our own journey through life. May we hear God's call, and may we not be too shy to take on the task. This comes to the conclusion of the Torah service of our afternoon service, and so I invite you please to turn to page 352, 352 for the returning of the scroll into the ark. יעללו את שם אדוני, כי נזקף שמו לבדו.
Israel.
2 more times, we stand before the Eternal on this Yom Kippur day. Has God already put our names down in one of the books? Or can we still plead for a change of the verdict? Can we still change? May we not give up. May we enter God's hall humbly, but not afraid, because God is merciful and open for us the path of Teshuvah. So let's enter. Let's open our lips, that our mouth may declare God's glory. On page 356, if you are able to, please rise.
Adonai sefatai tiftachu fi agiteinatecha. Adonai sefatai tiftachu fi agiteinatecha. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu ve'Elohei Avotenu ve'Elohei Imotenu ve'Elohei Abraham ve'Elohei Yitzchak ve'Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Rachel ve'Elohei Leah Elo Gadol Agibor ve'Hanora El Elyon Gomel Chasadim Tovim ve'Konei Hakol Ve'zocher Chasdei Avot ve'Imaot U'mevii Geula Livnei Bneihem Leman Shemo Be'ahava Zovreinu Lechaim Melech Hafetz B'chaim V'chotfeinu B'sefer HaChaim Lemancha Elohim Chaim Melech Choseh u'Moshiach u'Magen Baruch atah Adonai Baruch Hu Baruch Shemo Magen Avraham ve'Ezrat Sarah Amen.
Gevarot. Atah Gibor Leolam Adonai. You are the power that never diminishes and never subsides. From you we draw Gevurah, our inner core of strength. Strength to rise at dawn when hungry babies cry. Strength to rise before the aged parent to bring care and dignity. Strength to give patience to a child whose needs overwhelm us. Strength to hold and heal a spouse in pain. To give love without losing hope. Strength to survive a job that is stressful and unrewarding. Strength to endure months or years without work and purpose. Strength to face crises and strength to surmount everyday hurdles. Strength to keep practicing and exercising trying mightily in spite of failure, strength to do what is called for, even when it is hard, strength to do what is right, especially when others do not.
נקדש את שמך העולם, כשם שמקדישים אותו בשמי מרום, ככתוב על יד נביאיך, וקרא זה אל זה, ואמר,
קדוש, 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 אדוני צבאות, מלוך כל הארץ,
אדיר אדירנו, אדוני אדוננו, מה אדיר שמך בכל הארץ.
ברוך כבוד אדוני ממקומו.
אחד הוא אלוהינו, הוא אבינו, הוא מלכנו, הוא מושיענו, והוא ישמיענו ברחמיו לעיני כל חי. אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
ימלוך אדוני לעולם, אלוהי ציון לדור ודור.
Standing generous in spirit when faced with imperfection. Help me to extend love and compassion to my own imperfect soul. Help me to embrace this truth. I share the Lord of all human beings. I'm not alone in my failings, whatever I have done. I'm loved and valued by you, worthy of love and capable of goodness. Do not let me slip into self-loathing or despair. As I ask your remembrance, I commit myself to remember self-compassion is not self-indulgence. It is not an excuse for bad behavior or impediment to my growth. Harsh self-rebuke will not make me more gentle with others. On this holy day, I hold fast to these words of the Torah. Be loving to your neighbor as you are to yourself.
A prayer for goodness and blessing. Oneness at the heart of all life. May I let go of the pettiness within myself and transform myself into a conduit of love. Let me be healing and comfort for those who are tired and ill. Let me be nourishment for the hungry. Let me be a shield for those who are helpless and afraid. Let me be a lamp to those who dwell in the dark. May I be a haven for the troubled, a guide for the lost, a voice for those who cannot speak. Let all those I meet come away feeling better for having encountered me. Our God and God of our forebears, pardon our failings on this day of atonement. Erase our misdeeds, see beyond our defiance. For Isaiah said in your name, it is I alone, who wipe away your defiant acts. This is my essence. I shall pay no heed to your errors. And the prophet said, as a cloud fades away, as mist dissolves into air, so your wrongs and mistakes shall be gone. I will wipe them away. Come back to me, that I may redeem you. As you said to Moses, from on this day of atonement shall be made for you, to purify you from all your wrongs, and pure you shall be in the presence of Adonai.
On page 390. Eloheinu ve'Elohei avoteinu v'imotenu, kadeshenu b'mitzvotecha, v'ten chelkeinu b'toratecha, sabeinu mituvecha, v'samcheinu b'shuatecha, v'taher libeinu le'ovdecha be'emet, ki ata solchan le'Yisrael, ומחולן לישבתי ישרון בכל דור ודור, ומבלעדיך אין לנו מלך מוחל וסולח אלא אתה.
ברוך אתה אדוני. ברוך הוא ברוך שמו. מלך מוחל וסולח לעוונותינו ולעוונות עמו בית ישראל, ומעביר אשמותינו בכל שנה ושנה. מלך כל הארץ, מקדש ישראל. מלך כל הארץ, מקדש ישראל.
מלך כל הארץ, מקדש ישראל, ישראל. מלך כל הארץ, מקדש ישראל.
מלך כל הארץ, מקדש ישראל. ויום הכיפורים.
We continue with a moment of your private thoughts and prayers, you may use the words of our Siddur or the words in your heart. And we resume with our service on page 406 in around 3 minutes.
וטוב בעיניך לברך את עמך ישראל בכל עת ובכל שעה בלי שומך בספר חיים ברכה ושלום וברכה טובה נספר ונכתב לפניך אנחנו וכל עמך בית ישראל לחיים טובים ושלום. שים שלום, שים שלום, שים שלום, פן וחסד ורחמים עלינו ועל כל ישראל עמך. שים שלום, שלום, ברוך אתה אדוני ברוך הוא ברוך שמו עושה
As parents show tenderness to their children, may you show mercy to those who worship you, like the heavens that tower above the earth. Your love is powerful for those who revere you. Liberation is a gift from God, a blessing upon your people. You are the God of all we can perceive, our haven, our God of Jacob. You are the God of all that is beyond our perception. The one who has faith in you is fortunate. Sovereign God, show us the way to freedom. Answer us on this day of our calling out to you. And Moses prayed to God, as you have been faithful to this people ever since Egypt, please forgive their failings now, in keeping with your boundless love. And so I invite you for a second last vidui, the confession, the Cheshbon HaNefesh, the soul search. And if you are able to, please join us on page 414 as we begin with Ki Anu Amecha.
Our God and God of our ancestors, we are your people, and you are our God. We are your children, and you are our father, our mother. We are the people who serve you, and you call us to serve. We are your community, and you are our portion. We are your legacy, and you are our purpose. We are your flock, and you are our shepherd. We are your vineyard, and you watch over us. We are your work, and you are our maker. We are your beloved, and you are our lover. We are your treasure, and you are the one we cherish. We are your people, and you reign over us. We offer you our words, and you offer us yours. So forgive us, pardon us, lead us to atonement.
Maradnu,
we abuse,
Niatznu,
we defy,
Zararnu,
we corrupt,
Avinu,
we commit crimes,
Pashanu,
we are hostile,
Tsararnu,
we are stubborn,
Kishinu Oref,
we are immoral,
Rashanu,
we kill,
Sichatnu,
we spoil,
Tiavnu,
we go astray,
Ta'inu,
we lead others astray.
Titanu. Please turn to page 418.
V'dui Rabbah, the long confession. For these sins, our God, we ask forgiveness.
The ways we have wronged you deliberately and by mistake, and harm we have caused in your world through insincere promises.
The ways we have wronged you by judging others unfairly, and harm we have caused in your world by making light of serious matters.
The ways we have wronged you by giving in to our hostile impulses, and harm we have caused in your world through condescension.
The ways we have wronged you through our innermost thoughts, and harm we have caused in your world through the words of our mouths.
The ways we have wronged you through lies and deceit, and harm we have caused in your world by mistreating a friend or neighbour.
The ways we have wronged you by hating without cause, and harm we have caused in your word through hypocrisy.
For all these failures of judgment and will, God of forgiveness, forgive us, pardon us, lead us to atonement.
The ways we have wronged you openly and secretly, and harm we have caused in your world through our thoughtlessness.
The ways we have wronged you by profaning your name in public, and harm we have caused in your world through offensive speech.
The ways we have wronged you through gossip and rumour, and harms we have caused in your world through disrespect to parents and teachers.
The ways we have wronged you through narrow-mindedness, and harm we have caused in your world through dishonesty in business.
The ways we have wronged you through sexual immorality, and harm we have caused in your world through consumption of food and drink.
The ways we have wronged you by betraying trust, and harm we have caused in your world through impulsive acts of malice.
For all these failures of judgment and will, God of forgiveness, forgive us, pardon us, lead us to atonement.
Say
May the pages 422 to 425 be a source of inspiration to find your own words while you encounter the closeness of the eternal, and when you try to find words to express who you are and to plead for yourselves. We have 3 minutes for your private conversation with the eternal.
Hakarat Hatov, recognizing the good. What gives us strength to pursue goodness? Awareness of the good that is around us. Decent, generous acts that remind us of what is possible here and now in this world of moral ambiguity. So our sages taught, one mitzvah inspires another. Thus, we acknowledge and celebrate those who do their best on the job, whatever their level or pay, and those who run an honest business, who don't cut corners, falsify, or lie. Those who labour in obscurity to help others or advance the frontiers of truth. Those who add beauty to the world through the arts or through unselfish deeds. Patient teachers who see the potential in shy or difficult students. Students who focus on learning, not just good marks, and earn their grades fairly without cheating. Athletes who exemplify good sportsmanship and self-discipline. All those who use their wealth to benefit society and the greater good. Those in high places who resist the corruption of power. Whistleblowers alert to malfeasance who bravely sound the alarm. Public servants who do the people's business with integrity. Politicians who place conscience above popularity. Those who travel far from home to defend our country from foes. Those who keep our communities safe, who run into fires to save lives. Parents who care selflessly for ill or troubled children. Children who give time and love to frail and aging parents. Loving spouses who remain faithful. Loyal friends who stand fast in times of trouble. May their mitzvot inspire our own. May we find the strength to emulate their honor. Let us take joy in remembering that goodness still abides.
Please join me on page 427 for the Avinu Malkeinu, and if you're able to, please rise. Avinu Malkeinu. We join generations of Jews who have sought your compassion. Shekhinah Imenu, nurturing presence, Mekor Binatenu, source of insight and understanding, Tzur Chayenu, under where that stone, steadying strength beneath us, Yedid Nafshotenu, intimate soul companion. Honeinu ve'oneinu. We are open to you in self-examination. Grace us and answer us. Be present with us and inspire us. Accompany us. Assure us we are not alone. Ki ein banu maasim. We approach you empty-handed. Our accomplishments set aside, rather than defend ourselves, we confess we are broken-hearted at our failures, and our world remains unrepaired. Aseh imanu, tzedakah v'chesed. Embrace us generously as we expose our errors. Be our example, hold us with abundant love, turn us to face the world with justice and compassion. Save us. We join our strength to yours as we offer ourselves fully of life ahead. Avinu Malkeinu, Choneinu ve'aneinu, Avinu Malkeinu, Choneinu ve'aneinu, ki ein banu maasim, aseh imanu, tzedakah v'chesed. Aseh imanu, tzedakah v'chesed, ve'hoshienu.
Avinu Malkeinu, Choneinu v'aneinu. Avinu Malkeinu, Choneinu v'aneinu, ki ein banu maasim.
thank you to everyone who's joined us today for our afternoon Torah service. We do value your comments on the chats, and particularly your feedback and inspirational thoughts and ideas. So please feel free to use the chat if you wish. Our service for the Torah service is going to end shortly after Rabbi does the final benediction, and then we're going to take a short break for about 20 minutes, and we'll come back for the Yizkor service at 5:20.
Thank you, Desmond. And so, Adonai our God, we look to you, hoping soon to behold the splendor of your power revealed, a world free of idolatry and false goods, a world growing more perfect through divine governance, a world in which all human beings make known your name, while those who do evil turn toward you instead. And as we suspend the service of our shul until 5:20, as Desmond said, may you find a moment to pray those words in your hearts that have found its right moment so far. May God bless you in this endeavor, and see you very soon.